up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And as you guys have may known from the previous video, I told you guys that the Monte Carlo pretty soon here is going to be going away for the winter, obviously, because it's, it's getting cold out, weather's getting shitty, it's becoming that time of year. So with that being said, I pretty much have confirmed that it is next week that the Monte Carlo is going into storage, and it is the 10th, so it'd be, oh shit, it's actually in like 4 days usually, I think, roughly, probably around 4 days, so really not that much time left with this car right here. So definitely videos will be made with it, it'll go away, and then it'll come back next year, just like every year. Now, what today's video is actually over is a new addition to the channel. It's kind of a work in progress, kinda. This is the first video made over it. I think personally, I love it. Now, mind you, it is an automatic, which is not, I just, not preferred. But the saving grace is that we have actually a T56 ready to go in it, and a different motor. So it's a big and like body work and all that. But apart from that, its current state, you can drive it. It's not the best, it doesn't sound the best. It can spin the tires, but that's about it. So, let's show you guys what it actually is. Alright guys, so as you can see right behind me, we have a 97 Trans Am. Now, there is a lot of shit with this car that I have to go over before the video is even made. So, you guys can't really tell, obviously. Look at this real quick. Clearly, it's a good, it's a pretty good, 5-footer, 5 to 10 footer, but once you get up on it, you can really see all the flaws, like, boom, the front bumper cover. That's just condensation from this morning, but you guys can see right here, this little area right here, the guy who had it before us, he drove under something and it pushed that in, screwed everything up. You can see where the bird's at right there, all the paint around it. Not the best. Hood ain't bad. The hood definitely makes it look a lot better. And these wheels actually, which did not come on it, but I think they fit the car really, really well. It had some really god-awful, ugly wheels on it. One of them was actually popped. One of the tires on one of the wheels is actually popped, but they were disgusting looking wheels. So happy that they're gone, and these are on it right now. So I'm just gonna give you guys pretty much a rundown of the car before we really get into today's video. Now, today's video is not gonna be really super in-depth on this car. It's just gonna be a, first video roughly, this is what it is, and then we'll go from there. Like I said, not the best body condition. You guys can see in the quarter right here, probably the dings. It's got dings, it's got all that. The dude who had it before us, you guys can see the rear bumper cover right here. Well, the dumbass put a fucking drywall screw into the bumper cover to hold it up, I guess, even though the fitment's not awful. So it's not like it was hit. I don't know, maybe the clip just broke. So this obviously is not an LS Trans Am. This is before that. This is the LT motors, which is, it's an LT motor. It's a 5.7, pretty much a small block Chevy with fuel injection thrown on it. Obviously has a 4-speed automatic transmission in it. Not fun. The rear gear ratio is, it's a 3-something, low 3s, so it's not like, boom. It's not really torquey, but it is to a degree for what this motor is and everything else, taken into consideration. Now, this motor in this car actually is not the original motor for the car. This was pulled out. It's got iron heads, so it was not for this Trans Am. It doesn't knock. It has good oil pressure. It didn't have the greatest oil pressure. It had oil pressure though. We put heavier weight oil in it to help out because it's a tire motor, but it actually surprisingly has enough power to spin the tires and spin them well. It has a leaky exhaust manifold, gasket on both banks. So it sounds like if you're not, you have to be a quarter throttle. If you don't, people will be like, when you're driving past, that's kind of like, you know, the RV you here used to be. But apart from that, you know, I've been driving it now for, what, like 5 days. It does pretty well. It's reliable. And I'm honestly shocked for the price we got it for, how reliable it is. Now, yeah, you guys can see, like, it ain't the prettiest. She ain't the prettiest. Gonna look better once we're actually fully done with it. It needs to be fully detailed. I want to do that here pretty soon. You guys can see it's dirty. It's all dirty in there. But, like I said, 4-speed automatic transmission. Look at the radio in this bitch. Hang on. Some absolute dip shit. First of all, there was a sub by factory, I believe, in these Trans Ams, and he took it out. All the speakers are here. All these speakers. It's got one down there, a tweeter down there as well, one right there, and then one back there on both sides. But there's actually supposed to be a sub in that back corner back there. But he took that out, obviously, probably because when he sold it, he wanted the sub with it. And he put this dumbass radio in it, which is barely held in, as you guys can see. It does work. The aux works. That's why I have my Bluetooth thing rigged up to it. It sounds like shit. Like, without the sub, the radio sounds like shit. There's absolutely zero bass. I give it a -2, actually, for bass. It is really bad. The gauge cluster, you know, it's aged. You can tell. This is a 90s car. Or early 2000s car. You know, just something around that era, just by looking at the gauges. All the climate controls actually do work. Again, I'm not a fan of the automatic. Again, we have a 6-speed ready to go into this thing, so that is going to be fun. It's either going to be this car, which is a hardtop, or we have a T-top, one of the same year, a year prior actually. We're either going to do this one or that one. But regardless, there's going to be a Trans Am on the channel. Apart from my Trans Am, which is the 1980 pace car that I'm putting a 78 nose on that you guys have probably seen by now. The floorboard video I did with the lawnmower video that none of you give a shit about. Let me start this car up for you guys so you can actually see what I'm talking about in terms of like the exhaust leak and what it does oil pressure wise and all that fun stuff. So there's it running. Let me focus on this bitch. You guys can see. We're that cold again, I'm surprised. We're probably at like 160, honestly. Well, I don't know if that temp gauge is actually reading correctly, because it'll only go to about 180. It'll just stay there. And then when you park and sit for 2 seconds, it'll go to 210. So I don't really trust that gauge. Oil pressure gauge is pretty accurate, except for when, again, it's warmed up in gear, you know, at a stop, you'll get like 10 pounds. And I know that's just not true. That's reading right. Fuel, obviously with these older cars, the fuel gauge is wonky. When you go around a turn, it's gonna fluctuate. I'm gonna give you guys a rev real quick so you can hear the exhaust leak up there. So yeah, you guys can hear the exhaust leak. It's like the noise, which is kind of odd for an exhaust manifold noise. You think about I guess that's just what it is. The premise of today's video, I just wanted to cover this car, get you guys familiar with it, because it is going to be shown on the channel more. Then again, winter time is coming around. It's not going to be driven in the winter, so again, videos, like I said before, will be mainly the Cobalt and stuff like that. But in today's video, I do intend to do a burnout with this thing right here on the road right behind me. So I'm going to set the tripod up on the driveway and do a burnout for you guys. I did slide it out a few times. It has enough power. It's mainly grunt torque, but besides that, it's good enough. You know what I mean? It's good enough for what it is, because these cars are super light in the back, almost like 2 pounds in the rear almost. So it can spin them with ease. Clearly this motor's clapped out and tired, and it can still do it. So obviously it doesn't weigh that much. You guys know my biggest problem with cars is when the exhaust is just simply too quiet. When it's just too quiet and you can't really get a good rumble, especially out of a V8. Now listen to this one. Let me get an exhaust rev for you guys too, because I actually never heard it, because I'm always in the car. Alright, Alright, so there was a rev real quick for you guys. Again, this video is not anything crazy, it's just me pretty much revealing the car and giving a once over and getting you guys ready for the videos that are going to be coming on this car. And letting you guys know, obviously, the Monte Carlo in there is going away. So yeah, this is the sucky time of the year. But I'm gonna do a little quick burnout right there on that road, and then that'll probably end up the video. Alright, let's go. Alright guys, so that's probably gonna sum up today's video. I could tell that the I don't think the rear pads were too happy with that last one right there when I came back, because I heard them. So I think it's gonna need rear pads. And probably, well, the rotors look okay, so just rear pads. But I don't blame it. This thing probably has, those probably haven't been changed in probably 10 years, honestly. So that's probably gonna wrap up today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be tuned and ready for more videos coming on both, well, the Cobalt, it's not really here, but that, I guess the process, it won't be really driven, it'll be the process of actually getting everything done. Then when it comes back to summertime, then the process of actually doing burnouts, having fun with it, doing donuts, all that stuff. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.